It's time to take a deeper dive into the Dementor SS kit. I've got some things on the way that I can't even tell you about, and I will need this put together to be able to use them. So let's get at it. All right, Dementor SS kit. Really like the box. We've already went over this. Now then, what I need to do is figure out what I need to do. We've got some axles. Ooh, the axles are pre-assembled. I was actually thinking about getting into some axle assembly today. Don't need to. Neat. All right, so we got ourselves the rear axle. We got a couple of O-rings here. I bet you these O-rings are for, why is there only 3? Man, I'm gonna have to look up instructions on this probably. Who knows what the O-rings are for? Oh yeah. Oh, we got some caster on these. That's neat. These are really well machined. I'll say for the size. I mean, there's a little bit of ball-in marks, which I was complaining about on a previous axle video, but when it's this tiny, it's kind of hard to not have those. And they're also not as bad as the other ones were. Yeah. Yeah, real nice machining. Real nice machining. Super heavy for what it is. All right. So we've got, it looks like some extra axle shafts. We have our steering. I better get out my Loctite because we have metal threading into metal. We'll just get started. We'll just go ahead and put a few things together. All right, so I was told that the links on these are not actually stainless, they are titanium. And looking at it, yeah, this looks a lot more like titanium. And if I give it a little bend, yeah, that has the flex of titanium. Also smells like titanium. I don't know if y'all can ever tell the difference, but titanium and stainless smell completely different. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. Yeah, I'm probably just a weirdo. But they do indeed smell different. All right, we got a little keeper nut there. We got ourselves, I may have to put this together and then take it apart and put it back together again, because you never know until you get all the things together. So I will try my best to not lose parts. Do I have, I'll be right back. I need a parts tray. What we have here is a Rhino, which feels like it's in the cheapest plastic possible in 171 gram. This is our parts tray today. The Rhino is, in my opinion, an absolutely terrible disc. I would never actually use this, but we've got a whole bunch of discs over there that are from back when we had Grow and Throw in the building.
Any good Rhino?
Is there any good Rhino? No. Not in my opinion. I absolutely loathe, well, it's got a lip on it, and I don't like lipped low-speed discs to begin with. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna complain. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the Rhino. Never have been a fan of the Rhino. It's also really small diameter. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that really enjoy the disc, but it's not me. All right, so, aha, these little ball ends are directional. One side's bigger than the other. The small side fits through. The large side does not. So we're gonna put that rubber washer right there. Oh, it's all so tiny. It's so tiny. Ay, 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 ay. All right, so the side that's got that, I would assume that that's how we put our steering on. I would assume. I think my filmographer is hungry over there. Did you eat breakfast? I don't think you ate breakfast, did you?
Missed it.
Oh, you missed breakfast. I, on the other hand, had my normal toast with 3 eggs. You know, for a while I was poaching my eggs to reduce the calories, and yeah, don't know, they're just so good when they're made with butter. And also it's easier to clean the pan. Out of all strange things, it seems that I'm gonna try my best to stay focused here. It seems that for some reason poaching makes the eggs want to stick to the stainless, and I know I should probably be using the cast iron skillet, but I don't always have time for the seasoning and unseasoning, and so better for me to just not have a rusty pan sitting around, so I use stainless usually. And for some reason poaching eggs in a stainless pan, they like to really stick. But a little bit of butter, put them in there before it's quite too hot, and it I can hear his stomach making me hungry. I'm gonna add a couple more ums to that sentence. Yeah, at any rate, my 3 eggs. What I've been doing lately, instead of toasting my bread in butter, is that I've just been toasting it, and that's worked pretty well for me. Cut down about 150 calories to 200 calories. So I'm trying to not gain weight. I don't know about y'all, but in the 40s, and with the level of activity that I have in everyday life, which isn't as much as it used to be, it's hard to not consistently gain weight with the normal amount of food, relatively normal amount of food that I eat, which generally ends up being somewhere around like 2,500 calories a day. So if I can cut out just a little bit, you know, like 150 to 200 calories at breakfast, and then not overeat at lunch, at least, then it seems to be working out well for me to at least stay consistent on my weight. I think that's what we do. I'm gonna wait for my steering link for later, but it looks as if we bolted into one of these holes, and then we would put our steering servo over there. I'm gonna have to check out online for a little bit of help with this, just to be sure. And in the meantime, these are going back in the bag. Oh, it's so tiny. Everything is so tiny. All right, so the next thing we have is maybe these servo mounts. That's what it looks like this is. And we also have an upper link mount. Oh, it's so itty bitty. Ugh, it's so itty bitty. I guess that's if you want a riser. I don't know if I want a riser, so I am not actually going to get into that. I do wonder, this guy, like, what is this, upper link mount? Lower link mount? Is this for the front or the back? Because this looks like a servo would mount on that, just like so. Certainly could. Otherwise the servo is going to have to go there. Yeah, I'll have to get online and look more. This is just getting me interested in the build and familiar with the build, because this is all new territory for me. Every bit of it. Oh, and the purple wheels look so good. Love it. All right, there's our wheels. Here's our wheel parts. I'm going to keep that together. Here is the transmission, which I am not going to do anything with until I know. Oh, the screws are so tiny. Oh man, they're so tiny. I'm worried that if I start taking this stuff apart, I'm going to lose screws. All right, so in the meantime, just to round this out and get myself familiar, I am going to start putting together these ball ends, which are also very tiny. But it'll take up a little bit of time and effort to get this done. And look at that, just, oh yeah, that's smooth. Good job. Good job. Something so tiny. That's really hard to machine. Whoever machined it, good job. And honestly, the design of all this seems to be really nice. Just generally, there's gotta be an easier way to put this stuff on. I literally can't get the O-rings on because my fingers are too large. But I've got good fingernails right now. I really need to trim them. But I have enough fingernails There we go. I can hold it with that one and then slide that on. Maybe there's an easier way. Y'all have to let me know in the comments. I am going to be definitely looking through these comments, looking for any little tricks that y'all have for assembling these little bitty crawlers. Well, that O-ring's gone. Just popped out in between my finger. Oh, it's teeny tiny. It is smaller than the belly growls that I'm hearing off camera. Oh, I feel like I'm getting bad. And that one's gone. Oh, I see it. Oh, I see multiples. Yeah. I'm not old, you're old. I feel like I'm getting bad posture. I also need a magnifying glass. Once this is together though, it's gonna be great, right? I'll be able to crawl anywhere. I'll be able to ruffle up like a hand towel, a face towel, a washcloth. I'll be able to wad up a washcloth and make a full crawler course. I'll be able to walk outside and have 3 blades of grass effectively be a full crawler course. So, you know, some upsides and some downsides to the tininess. Jeez. Jiminy Christmas. Jiminy Cricket? I don't know. Just... This is a very nice lesson in patience. The teeniest balls in the world. Should that be the song this time? A song about teeny balls. We are handling very teeny balls right now, guys. And gal, the one viewer. I see you, maybe the 2 gals that watch. We see you in the analytics and you posting. We see you. And there's not many gals. So yeah, guys, mostly guys. I am currently handling the smallest balls that I've ever held. That's gotta make a good song. Don't let tiny balls dissuade you. Don't let tiny balls stop you in your tracks. Let's see, what could the hook be? Don't let her tell you that tiny balls are no good. Because they obviously do their job. And they do it well. But if you got tiny balls, then you got a tiny rig to go with it. Oh no. This video has taken a turn for the worst. But yes, let's do a song about tiny balls. And how you can't let them get in the way of your fun. Because they're so tiny, how can they get in the way? They're always going to be out of the way, these tiny balls. This is probably the record for any video of the most amount of times that I've said tiny balls. Boop. Now, it's a good thing that I practically have surgeon hands, because this is not easy as I fumble. And I definitely will play anybody in a game of Operation and I will destroy you. I've said this before. I'm saying it again. I don't know if I've ever been beaten in a game of Operation. Unless it was like the person somehow, because of their turns, got all the high value parts. Because there is different values for each part. So you have to go through and kind of like select which ones that you think you can get. And I will select all the high value ones and I will get them every time. Unless somebody intentionally like bumps the board or something, I'm winning. I'm winning that game because I have very steady hands. Relatively, I guess. If they're not steady, I'm good at timing. It's not easy making tiny motors. It's the soldering, really. I think it's the practicing of soldering that has really helped me over the years as far as my hands are concerned. And I'll know when I'm getting old, because the soldering is going to become more difficult, and getting trimmers or whatever the case may be. That's going to be how I know that I'm getting old. All right, I want to make sure that I make these in kind of like a symmetrical way, just in case. Just in case I want to push my balls through in a certain direction. It probably doesn't matter, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna push those balls through. Haha. And I'm sure you can see on the camera how dirty my fingers look. Found a pecan tree in the neighborhood, and just to see how the pecans ripen, I guess, I pulled one apart with my hands, and it was very, very yellow and stained my hands, and then it oxidized, and it really stained my hands. All right, so we've got these. I'm gonna flip that around. This one is also, looks like the same of that. So we just want to make sure that we do everything in a symmetrical way. That'll make sure that our spacing is the same and that we don't have any funny business going on. No funny business with the tiny balls. This is serious business. Very serious business. See, I'm getting faster. I'm getting real fast at handling my tiny balls. Which, if it wasn't going to be so much difficulty, I'd say count how many times I said that in the video and keep a counter. But that would probably be a lot of effort. The tiny ball counter. What do you think? We're probably at like 50 times right now. Gotta make these balls face the right direction. I've never once said that in my life. Yeah, once you get used to it and get into a rhythm, that's not so bad. All right, we are almost done. Almost. Only 3 more balls to handle. There, then there. 2 more balls to handle. Oh, it looks like they even gave us a few extras. Sweet. That is a word that nobody uses in Georgia. Sweet. Nope, not popular. Maybe it's more popular now, but when I moved up to Missouri from Georgia, everybody's saying that. People still say it here. And it's like, what is this strange word that y'all use for this affirmation of coolness? That's exactly what I said too, I promise. Except for when I was a kid, I'd be like, what's this weird word y'all using for the affirmation of coolness? Because that's totally how I sounded as a child. All right. Whew. My fingers are tired from handling tiny balls, and my eyes are almost crossed from looking at them because they are so tiny. We're gonna stop there. I got all of our ball ends and the rubbers on that. We got our steering link on, yay. And it's just gonna be a slow attrition of moving through this. I will try to do my best to get it assembled a little bit more off camera, because I mean, this could be hours of videos getting it done. And we don't quite need to show you every little aspect of it, but I will do my best. You know, I'm gonna put this back in the box actually, because it's not assembled too much yet. That'll make sure I don't lose any parts, because yeah, I got a lot going on right now. I'm gonna lose parts if I'm not careful. I don't want to do that. This thing's really cool. we will make sure. We're gonna do our best to keep it all together. Look at there. I'm even gonna put this back on so I don't forget what this weird black box laying around is. Boom, there we go. All right, one step closer. We will get this together probably just in time for the unnamed parts coming in that I can test. Excellent. If you got any questions, or please, if you have any comments about putting these guys together, leave your comments down below and I will read them, and I will read them again and again and again. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.
Holmes Hobbies, tiny parts all scattered without any care. Something tiny and mighty you can smell in the air. Smallest stacks of balls shiny like a star. In this world a tinkering he'll go far. A microcosm mountain for a beast so small, conquering the tiny rock standing tall. Holmes Hobbies, patience of a giant he built so fine. Tiny red for rock crawling steep and then divine. John Robert tries hard, but these balls are small. Tiny screws and pieces to the floor they fall. And steady and sure like a surgeon's touch. Years of play and operation as a kid were never enough. Never enough. RC tiny crawler, this build is tough. This build is tough. No mountain too high, no rock too stout for a rig so small it'll roam about. Over face towels and 3 blades of grass, this tiny crawler build may kick his ass. Holmes Hobbies, patience of a giant he built so fine. Tiny red for rock crawling steep and then divine. John Robert tries hard, but these balls are small. Tiny screws and pieces to the floor they fall. Holmes Hobbies. The patience of the giant he built so fine. Tiny rig for rock crawling steep and divine. John Robert tries hard, but these balls are small. Tiny screws and pieces to the floor they fall. Holmes Hobbies, small balls, big crawls.